Hi guys, I hope you're good. In this video, I want to take you on a special journey with me. I'm going to New York for Christmas, and you guys can come along too. New York is built around two main rivers, East River and the Hudson, which surround New York's main island of Manhattan. That is Manhattan Bridge, which is one of a number of bridges crossing the 16-mile-long East River. From its banks, you can see the Brooklyn Bridge, which is possibly one of New York's most iconic landmarks. There are quite a few boats out on the river, and I can't help but wonder how a narrowboat might fare on these waters. I walk further into Manhattan, passing some interesting sights along the way. There is a definite smell to New York. You can tell that you're surrounded by water and very close to the sea. I'm now on the other side of Manhattan Island, along the banks of the Hudson, which again is busy with a lot of commuter and tourist boats. Most people are out on the river to get a sight of her, New York's most famous lady. Not to be left behind, I take a short walk to the Battery, which is the name of the park where cruisers leave for the Statue of Liberty. About 3 million people a year visit the statue, and this boat is packed with the next group of tourists hoping for a decent view of her. I'm going to save myself the money and the crowds by heading to the Staten Island Ferry, which is a free ferry travelling 5 miles between Manhattan and Staten Island. It runs every half an hour, and if you're lucky, you should be able to get a decent view of the statue from aboard. The ferry terminal is rammed. I worry that I'm not going to get on the boat, never mind be able to get a decent view of the statue. But my fears are completely unfounded, and I got the best seat on the boat. As the ferry pulls out of the terminal, you get a great view back over Manhattan, although it is a little marred by the amount of smog in the air. It takes about 25 minutes for the ferry to cross the Hudson River to Staten Island. The Hudson is 315 miles long, and almost all of it is in New York State, with the exception of the final part, which is in New Jersey, just on the other side of the water from the Battery. The Statue of Liberty is on Liberty Island in New York Harbor. Only one tour operator can land on Liberty Island. If you want to go inside the statue, you're best to book well in advance. The statue would have been the first thing that immigrants saw on arrival to the United States. The total height of the statue is an impressive 305 feet and 1 inch. She's made from copper, which is why she is now green. Given to the United States from France as a gift, she symbolises freedom, American independence, and the end of slavery. The French built the statue, and the Americans built the pedestal on which she stands, although they almost didn't raise enough funds to erect the pedestal. I got a fantastic view of the statue. I would highly recommend taking the Staten Island Ferry if you're in New York. It didn't cost a penny, I didn't have to squeeze in anyone's armpit or pretend to be a tin sardine, and the view was phenomenal. I'm waiting now for the ferry to take me back from Staten Island to Manhattan. I'm going for dinner with a couple of my subscribers who live in New Jersey. Here's a shot of my #1 American fan, Willow. I spent the next couple of days exploring New York. After a thoroughly enjoyable Christmas day in Central Park, I headed back to East River in the evening. I'm walking across Manhattan Bridge, admiring the views of Brooklyn Bridge as the sun sets over New York. Once I got to the other side, I walked back over the Brooklyn Bridge to get back into Manhattan, but it was quite dark then, so there's not much in the way of footage. My last full day in New York, and I head back down to the Hudson. This is the USS Intrepid, a former aircraft carrier, which is now home to the Intrepid Sea, Air and Space Museum. The Intrepid was built in 1943. She fought in World War II and survived 5 kamikaze and 1 torpedo attacks. She later went on to serve in the Cold War and in Vietnam. She was decommissioned in 1974, and she's now open to the public as part of the Intrepid Sea, Air and Space Museum. The museum have 22 aircraft, 17 of which are aboard the Intrepid. I finished off my visit with a trip on the Roosevelt Island Tramway, which, as the name suggests, goes to Roosevelt Island. The island is 1.5 miles long, and only 1/8 of a mile at its widest point. It is surrounded entirely by East River. It used to be called Welfare Island because it housed a number of hospitals. It is a stark contrast to the hustle and bustle of the rest of the city, and I had a brilliant time walking along the river on my last night in New York. I'm heading to Canada in the morning. Let me know if you want to see a video from the Niagara Falls. But for now, one last look over this amazing city. Thank you for watching.